It's me, Brittany at Ingleside Imaginarium, and I am here with an actual Flosstube video. If you don't know what that is, happy to tell you about it. It's a particular corner of YouTube where people talk about cross-stitching and the string thread that you use to cross-stitch is called embroidery floss, hence Flosstube. Anyway, it's that time of the year where it's one of my favorite times of the year in the cross-stitch / Flosstube community, and that is the time of the year when WIP parades are out to play, which is always fun. I love a WIP parade because you get to see everyone's projects that they've been working on, sometimes for years. So it's like watching old friends. And then you also get to see their new projects that they're working on. And then you also get to just see so many different patterns out there that you might have never known about. And you can be enabled to buy them yourself and stitch them. So I didn't do a WIP parade last year. I just wasn't feeling up to it. So it's been a little while since I've done one. I think they have about 40 projects. And you'll recognize some of them if you are someone who's watched my channel for a long time. But there are some in here, since I didn't do one last year, that I haven't shared anywhere yet. So as we get along towards the end, there might be some surprises. Some of these pieces, like I mentioned, well, some of them are rather old. So a couple of these I started back in 2015, and they're still nowhere near being finished. So in an effort to try and finish some of those things this year, I am participating in a cross-stitch challenge called WIPGO, which was made up as sort of a personal challenge by Jessie Marie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff a few years ago. And then I think in 2020 maybe, she made a Facebook group and invited the rest of the community to participate with her. And WIPGO is called WIPGO, WIP meaning work in progress. It's all of the projects that you've started but maybe haven't finished yet. And then the go part comes from the game bingo. So you have a board, it's got 25 squares in it, and each square represents one of your works in progress. And so you create a challenge. Jessie calls 2 numbers a month, maybe 3, because at one point she will be calling the middle space in the board as well. It's 25. It doesn't divide into 2, so 1 month has to have 3. But anyway, for each WIP, you assign a block for each of your WIPs, and then also assign a challenge to go with it. And when that number is called, you are able to try and finish that challenge, complete it. And if you do complete it, you know, for example, if you had a piece that you wanted to stitch 500 stitches on, once you've stitched 500 stitches, you can black out that square, it's completed. And then this is a personal choice up to whoever is partaking in the challenge. If you end up getting 5 in a row, a bingo or a WIPGO in this case, then you can choose to reward yourself or not. I haven't decided what will happen when and if I get a WIPGO eventually. But the key thing is here, the numbers are called, but you have to complete the challenge before the block is considered completed. So it is a motivation to get work done on these old WIPs. And that's what I need this year. So this one might, I don't know how long this is going to be. We'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with an old favorite. This is my oldest WIP. I'm going to be going through these in chronological order. So oldest start to newest start date. Yeah, let's get going. This is a piece that I started in the very first Stitch Mania back in 2015. May 5th, 2015. So it's coming up on its 6th birthday. It is my goal to finish this before May, before the next Stitch Mania. It is called Napping Kitten. It is a Dimensions Gold Petite project. I started this back when I was mostly doing kits and other projects. I had started designing, but I wasn't designing as much as I am now. So I had time to work on other things. This is in my WIPGO challenge. This is the first square. I thought about doing a separate WIPGO plans video, but it would be a lot of the same projects in the same order, so I thought I'll just add in, if these pieces are on my WIPGO board, I'll just go ahead and let you know. So you all would have seen this in my Stitch Mania vlog videos last year, and last year I had gotten, I think, the kitten done, or pretty close to being done, and I've made a lot of progress on this last year. I had wanted to get it done by Christmas. That didn't work out, but as you can see, I now have the entire branch done, the little ladybug is stitched, and I have most of the leaves done. So after that, it's just the flowers and the sky and the little bumblebees, and then all the backstitch. Which doesn't look like much, but when you say it, it sounds like a lot, so we'll see how long it takes. But the goal on this project for WIPGO is to finish it. I am going to finish it this year, if not before May, but my goal is to finish this before May, even if the block 1 is not called. I'll be working on it, get it done, and then when it's called, it will already be complete, if it's called the second half of the year. So yeah, there's Napping Kitten. He's looking so cute. I changed it a little bit to look like my old roommate's cat, Gooby, a precious boy who I miss dearly since moving from New York, and hopefully I'll be able to send it to her for her birthday in May. So, you know, it's another reason why I need to get this done before May. So that's WIP number 1. WIP number 2 is from the same Stitch Mania as a Napping Kitten, and that is another Dimensions kit. It's called Warm and Fuzzy Kitten. My sister gave this to me for my birthday back in 2015, and it was started the day after Napping Kitten. It's called May 6th, 2015 is when I started this piece. And I've had my ups and downs with it, but we're finally moving forward because this is also one of my WIPGO pieces. So it's in the second square. I decided to take my oldest WIPs and feature them on my WIPGO board. So I just started the beginning, one across, right across. So that's why Napping Kitten's number 1, Warm and Fuzzy Kitten is number 2. And actually I've already made a lot of progress on this month because number 2 was one of the numbers that Jessie Marie called. So here is where Napping Kitten is now. This piece, it just makes me laugh because I like to color complete, especially with like kits and things. And that's why I started these old kits. So I'm just kind of like continuing on with that. And I stitched like the black of his eyes and everything, but I have not finished them yet. So hopefully this doesn't give anyone nightmares. It makes me laugh though. So I'm gonna finish probably the entire rest of the kitten and then go back and do the eyes. But it's finally starting to move along, and I'm excited to be making some progress on this. I guess I should mention, or I can mention, that my goal on this is to finish the kitten. That's my goal. I'm not going to finish the whole kit because I still got an entire rug to do, but I want to finish the kitten. And the way I'm handling WIPGO is that I have a bunch of other projects, especially having to do with my business, that I need to work on. So how I'm handling WIPGO projects and goals is that I want to work an hour each day on it. And some goals later, I'll say I want to finish 7 days stitching on that. That would mean 7 total hours of stitching. I thought that was an achievable way to continue making progress on these old WIPs, but still feel like I'm being responsible and working on the things that I need to work on for work purposes. This is my WIPGO project number 3, as well as my third oldest WIP. It's called Be Joyful. This is the project itself. This is what it will look like. It's a Design Works kit that I started, May 9th, 2015. And this is where I'm at. So my goal for WIPGO on this is to it's a pretty big goal. I'd like to get all of this done, but if I'm working an hour each day, I think it shouldn't take me more than 2 weeks. But I lied. Actually, I want to get all of the cross stitches done on here, I think is my goal. So that includes the text on the bottom. But that's my goal when this project is called. I'll be working to get all of the cross stitches done. And then when May comes around and I'll be working on it again, I can start with back stitch, which would be fun. Well, that's if this number is called before May. I have to keep remembering that I don't, you know, they don't go in order. So, or they might not go in order. Yeah, that's Be Joyful by Designworks. Another oldie. This is another Dimensions kit from my first Stitch Mania. So again from 2015. This was started May 11th, 2015. It's more cats. This is a Dimensions kit called Ebony and Ivory. I love this kit because it's got the cats and the piano and the music. And some of you may know, some of you might not know, I actually got a Bachelor's of Music degree from college in musical theater. So cats and music are some of my passions in life. So yeah, I'm using, for all of these previous projects, I'm using the supplied kit fabric and the supplied kit floss. So if it's Dimensions floss, Designworks floss, and they're all on Ada. And I think everything so far except Napping Kitten is 18 count, but the rest is all 14 count Ada. So here is where Ebony and Ivory is. This one is also on my WIPGO board, and it is number 4. And so my goal is to finish the black cat, which is a pretty big goal. So we'll see if I can get that one done. I have a whole year, technically, but yeah. This is a project that will be really nice to get to see some progress on because it's going to be pretty when it's done. So project number 5 on my WIPGO board, and the 5th oldest project that I have is this one. It's another Designworks from the same series as Be Joyful. This is called Have Faith, and it has a quail with the words Have Faith. So my WIPGO goal is to finish this side, this motif here. So that's where I got confused last time, was I wanted to get this motif here done. So here is where I'm at. Oh, sorry. I think that's pretty doable, but we'll see. That one was started May 14th, 2015. So yeah, we're still back in 2015 here. The next WIP is from a series. I didn't bring out all of the pattern was released in 4 parts. And I didn't bring out all 4 parts to show you, but I can show you this one because this sew block is the one that I'm going to be working on next for this project. It's the Silver Creek Sampler Sing a Sampler based off of the song Do Re Mi from The Sound of Music by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Yeah, I love this project. I have to give a shout out to my friend D Stitcher, who passed on the other half of her fabric as well as her leftover threads to get me started with this back in 2015. And she's actually doing WIPGO this year, so it's nice to see her back in the cross-stitch community and posting about her work again. As I mentioned, there is a block for each of the solfege syllables, and I am on So, the 5th one. And here is my project. So you can see Do, Re, Mi, Fa. So is next. I made my runner look like Brigida in her curtain clothes from the movie Sound of Music. And so I put her name in the Me a Name I Call Myself block as well. And yeah, my WIPGO goal for this project is to get the sole block done. And yeah, it should be good. It's very silly, but somebody commented in the WIPGO group. I posted a photo. She was like, oh, what are you going to do with your patterns when you're done with them? I said, well, I'll most likely give them away on my YouTube channel or my Instagram, but this WIP has literally been in progress for years, so I have no idea when that's gonna be. And then she laughed. So that one was started September 12th, 2015. So we'll see. Next is another project from that year. This was started October 1st, 2015 as a part of a stitch along that I kind of created with my friend Dee Stitcher called Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Stitch Along, because we wanted to do stitch along in October, but something that wasn't like spooky. So we both started a Disney pattern. I think we both started a Disney Dreams pattern. Mine was this one here. This is one of the Thomas Kincaid Disney Dreams kit. It is Tinkerbell and Peter Pan Fly to Neverland. The Peter Pan version where they're flying over London. And this was actually a gift to me from my friend Helga. She and her son EJ sent this to me, which was really kind. I think she had 2 and she had an extra. So she said, I know you love Peter Pan, which you can't see it, but that frame back there is actually a framed record sleeve of the original Mary Martin Broadway soundtrack so I was in Peter Pan years ago, and somebody got that for me and had all the cast members sign it in green Sharpie on the glass, not on the sleeve itself, don't worry. So it's just a special memento. Here's where I'm at. I've had this almost 6 years started, and this is where I'm at. To be fair, this is on 18 count. It's got a lot of confetti, especially in this water section, and I think in the whole thing it's probably going to be a lot of confetti because you've got the London lights and building and stuff. But Disney Dreams, they're no joke. So this is in my WIPGO, and my goal is to work 7 days on it. I didn't want to make it a goal to even get a whole quarter of this pattern done because I just didn't know if that would be feasible or possible with my schedule. So I thought, you know what, 7 hours, hopefully that'll get me a good chunk of progress made, and we can keep moving from there. There's no deadlines, there's no stress. But yes, October 1st, 2015, I started this project. My next piece, I don't have a start date for. I can't quite remember when I started it, but it was in 2015. Yes, in fact, I know that it was in 2015 because I purchased the threads for this with a gift card that the mom of the nannying gig in New York City gave me, and that was the year I was recovering from my vocal injury, which was 2015. So that makes sense. I was worried there for a second. I had it wrong in the order, not that it would matter, but it is from this book. I had a wild hair one day that I wanted to stitch a leopard, and I had been looking at leopard patterns, didn't find one I liked, and I remembered Letitia has this, and she had done a flip through of this on her Flosstube channel, and I was like, you know what, I think she had a leopard in that book. So I watched her flip through again, and sure enough, this leopard called Queen of Cats is in it, and if that isn't just beautiful and majestic, I don't know what is. So I decided I was going to stitch this, and I painted my own fabric for this project. I have tried to paint fabric since then, and this was the only successful one, so I stopped painting fabric. But this one turned out pretty well. I think it looks like the sun set in a savanna, and I have a quarter, so this pattern is broken up into 4 pages, and I have 1 page done plus a little bit. This pattern is full of confetti with all of those grasses and all of the different tan and golds and olive colors. It's a hard one to work on, but I do want to finish it because I think it's beautiful. Again, this is a 28 count, hand painted by myself, even weave, and it's just DMC thread from that book, which I didn't tell you the name of. This is Cross Stitch Safari by Jayne, Netley, Mayhew. Lots of wonderful patterns in here. Jessie just finished her elephants last year. They're super cute. So yeah, Queen of Cats. This is a WIPGO project. My WIPGO goal on this one is to work 7 days on it again. There wasn't a great quantifiable goal on it besides like another page, and that seemed like too much. So 7 days. I think I can do it. So that was WIPGO number 8. This is WIPGO project number 9. This was my New Year's New Start for the year 2016, and it was one of the Art Nouveau style princesses by the designer Pinky the Pink, based off of art by Hannah Alexander. This is Merida. It has all kinds of beads and 1/1 stitches or quarter stitches and metallics, and I was really excited to start this. And I had a wild idea that I was going to do the whole thing 1/1. And I'm still recovering from that unfortunate idea. I think that's why I haven't worked on this much. But yeah, I started it January 1st, 2016. It's being stitched on 36 count linen in Mellow by Picture This Plus. And that's all I have. I don't even know if this is the right side up or not. But yeah, it goes this way. It goes this way, but yeah. It has blended threads. It has, again, tiny 1/1 stitches, or like fractional stitches that I had chosen to do 1/1. So like if you were to look up close here, I have this whole section. I mean, it's a teeny section, but like that's all 1/1 stitching, because when I started, I thought I was going to do the whole thing 1/1. No, I don't have time for that. So we'll see. Maybe I should frog it and start it over. Or just stitch over it. I'm not sure what I'll do yet, but this is a WIPGO project. It's my 9th square on WIPGO, and I also said to work 7 days on this piece. So when number 9 is called, I will have to figure out my method of going forward with that one. So the next project, we are moving to May 1st, 2016 to be precise. This was a Mania start for that year, and it is an Ingleside Imaginarium pattern. That's me. It's called Raptor's Love. Let me show you what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look like this. 2 raptors, their hearts curved up over, or their tails curved up over their heads to kind of make a heart shape. And I have 1 raptor nearly done except for back stitching, and so I have to finish this raptor and do a little bit of text on the bottom. This is just DMC stitched on a 28 count natural even weave. And my WIPGO goal for this piece is to finish it. Gosh darn it, this is going to be the year that I finish this piece. I think it's cute. I love those raptors. You don't see a lot of feathered dinosaurs in cross stitch. But I am really excited to see how Cloud's Factory this year is doing a dinosaur stitch along, mystery stitch along. And I saw it's an alphabet. It's an alphabetical stitch along, dinosaur alphabet. So 26 dinosaurs. It will be interesting to see how they go. They've released a preview of one of them, E for Elasmosaurus, which I think technically is a marine reptile, but I'll let it go. It might not be a dinosaur cell. It might be a prehistoric animal alphabet. Let's see. Anyway, it looks exciting. I purchased it. I don't know if I'll stitch it and keep up with it because I have a lot of other stuff to work on, but I love dinosaurs, so I had to get it. The next project is another Stitch Mania 2016 project that I started on May the 4th. May the 4th, of course, I had to do a Star Wars project. This is a piece by a designer previously known as Stitchline, but now goes by Stitcharea or Stitcharea. And it is this C-3PO sugar skull. So I started this project with the intentions of doing, there were 3 of them, C-3PO, Stormtrooper, and Darth Vader, and I wanted to do all of them, and maybe one day have them like give... Here's the silly thing, I don't dislike Star Wars, but it's not one of my passion movies. And I think I purchased this with the intention of stitching them for a friend who is now not as close a friend, so that's the problem with WIPs taking years, is that you might not be friends with the person that they were for when you get them done. So this is a piece of, picture this plus linen in dusk. It's a 32 count. My plan was to do all of them in B5200 on this dark kind of galaxy fabric. Thought it would look cool. So I actually do have enough fabric to do all 3. And so it just depends if I find a new friend who loves Star Wars, who would appreciate them, we'll see after I get C-3PO done how I feel. So this one is also on my WIPGO board, and the goal is to finish this one. I'm gonna get it done. Because this is another one that's given me a lot of trouble over the years, but I think I'm finally on track to hopefully be able to finish it without any further problems. I don't have that much left. It's over halfway done. This next piece I started September 11th, 2016. That was the year Fallout 4 came out, and there was a character in there I really liked, and I found an artist who had done some art of it, and I asked her, the artist's name is Graziano, and I asked her if I could convert it into a cross-stitch pattern and stitch it because I liked the artwork so much. And she said, if you want to buy a print, then yeah, sure, pay me for the print and you have my blessing to do that. I'm not selling it to anybody, I just wanted to stitch it for myself. So that pattern is, and the character is a character called Piper Wright from Fallout, and this is the picture that I'm going to be stitching. And here's my progress. This is on a piece of, okay, I lied when I said I didn't paint any other fabric. This is technically painted. I wanted it to look like kind of old, dirty, creased paper, kind of like a poster. Like her artwork kind of had that same feel. So I think I did a good job with that. I used Pick to Pat to convert it to a cross-stitch pattern. And here's where I'm at with Piper. Yeah. Just unfortunately another one of those projects that just got put on the back burner and doesn't get a lot of love. But she is on my WIPGO board, and my WIPGO goal is to do 7 days of stitching on her. So she will be seeing some progress this year, which is exciting. So yeah, I'll give you a close-up there. I think the Pick to Pat pattern actually turned out pretty well. I think at the end I might go in with some back stitching, just kind of sharpen up her eyes and everything, but we'll see when that happens. If I get anywhere close to what can be called an end on that project. But yeah, oh, I forgot I printed out a picture. So that's her. She's so pretty. That Nuka-Cola bottle, the Nuka-Cola Quantum bottle, is going to be fun to stitch with those bright blues. That's gotta be like $9.95, $9.96, right? Okay, so next WIPGO project, I started April 28th, 2017 for Jessie Marie's birthday. This is a piece by Lena, Lawson, Needlearts called Fleur de Montagna. It is based on an old Art Nouveau piece by Elizabeth Sonrel, and I started this that year on that day because she's blonde, and I was back when Jessie was blonde. So yeah, this piece makes me think of her, and it's really pretty, but it's huge. I'll show you how big it is. This is being stitched on a 36 count linen in smoke blue with just DMC threads following the pattern. This is how big she's gonna be. And that is her kind of pink sash that drapes down below her waist there. This part right here is what that stitching is. So not a lot of progress, but my WIPGO goal is to work 7 days on this piece as well. So yeah. The next piece is a Stitchmania 2017 piece, and it is another kitty cat. This is from a book of cross-stitch patterns called Cats of the World in Cross Stitch. It's another Jayne Netley Mayhew book, but this one she did with Nikki Wheeler. And there is a series of 4 seasonal cats in this book. And I'd like to stitch them all one day, but I started summer and haven't finished it yet. But that's him. I don't know why. I called this cat a him. But yeah, Summer is an exotic short hair cat. So here is where I'm at. This last Stitchmania, I got to fill in his eyes, which was really exciting. And yeah, this is on a picture of this plus linen and 32 count called Pompous. And this is another WIPGO project, and the goal on this one is to get 7 days stitching done on it. Which feels, again, I think, you know, doing an hour each day, considering that a day, I guess I could put 7 hours. But, you know, at the same time, if the hour timer goes off and that day I feel like I have some time to do a little extra stitching on those pieces, you know, that works. That's fine. So, next piece is a piece that I originally started as a friend's wedding gift. Ended up being a lot bigger than I thought, and I kind of lost steam and gave up on that purpose for it. It might still go to her eventually, but I hate giving up projects. It's silly, but, you know, just UFOing projects. I like no matter how long it takes me to finish it, you know, I don't know. I don't like giving up. So this is a piece by a designer called Hornswoggle on Etsy. It's this Winnie the Pooh piece. You might have seen last year Alma of Alma's Little Wonders stitch this and finished it. It says, "How do you spell love?" asks Piglet, and then Pooh says, "You don't spell it, you feel it." So I thought that was pretty cute. My friend loves Winnie the Pooh. She was getting married, so I was like, that would be a really sweet gift. I didn't get it done. It was back in 2017. So this is being stitched on a 32 count linen in Twilight Blue. And that's where I'm at on this piece. My WIPGO goal for this piece is to finish Piglet, which now that I'm looking at it, is a pretty small goal, but you know, I'm gonna leave it small because some of these other projects I have bigger goals on. So, you know, you gotta have some balance. And if I wanna do a little more work on it when I have it out, I can. But yeah, at least get Piglet done. That would feel good, and it would be really cute. This next piece is a piece I started in September of 2017. It is a piece by a designer named LolitaMade on Etsy, and it is the Targaryen house banner. I am going to finish this. You know, Game of Thrones is not as culturally impactful now as it was when it was going on and it was happening. But, you know, I still feel, this is so dorky, but like, you know, Mother of Dragons, yeah, all right. I just love dragons. And anyway, I'm gonna finish it. This is a piece I started and I'm stitching it on a 32 count linen in Valyrian steel by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Valyrian steel is named after a type of metal found in the Game of Thrones universe. And I picked this fabric specifically because Jessie Marie was doing the Stark House banner on it. And I wanted to have kind of like a sister project to hers. I think she finished hers, but mine is here. At least it says House Targaryen on it. This one is also on my WIPGO board, and my goal is, so here's where I'm at. You can see I just got the House Targaryen text done. Under that are the Targaryen words, fire and blood. And so my WIPGO goal is to get this motif done. So this kind of center flower, the scroll work under here, and then the words fire and blood. So I want to get that done. This is 817 on that Valyrian steel. I thought it looked nice and kind of smoky and fiery. So next is a piece I started July 7th, 2017. It is by Soda Stitch, and it is this adorable stack of sewing cats. It's just called Sewing Cats. I decided I was going to stitch this and make all of the cats look like Flosstube cats, or cats in the cross-stitch community. It was a good idea, and I will probably still do that, but I can't remember who was going to be which cat all these years later. So I know that this one at the top is going to be my cat Daenerys. I think this one might end up being Rhaegar, and I think I might make that one Goobian, just because he was a special cat to me. But then these 5 kitties down here, I'll have to figure out who they're going to be. I have a feeling that I can represent some of my stitchy friends in here with their kitty cats. But these 2 have been spoken for, and they have been stitched, so I do know who they are. This is my progress. This is on an 18 count opalescent Ada, which was a solo dye by Fabrics by LJ. He's not dyeing anymore, but it's, yeah, just this beautiful mottled aqua color with the sparkles. And you can see here I have 2 kitties done. And if you watch Emily C from Eclectic Possessions, you might recognize that little kitty is Buster with the scissors, and the one hanging off the shelf is her other kitty, Dharma. So I have those 2 kitties done. For WIPGO, I want to get, I said a shelf done. So that means that I will complete this shelf, but in my head, you know, because technically that would be completing a shelf, but in my head I would like to get, see how they're on little shelves? I think I'll move up here to this one and get those guys done too. Would be a goal. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, this is so cute. I definitely want to get back to it and stitch some more adorable sewing cats. Next, October 7th, 2017 is when I started this project, and I started this at the Flosstube retreat in Austin because I wanted to have a dark 13 project to work on. It's by Nouveau. It's called Shalloween. And it's not a very big project, but I didn't finish it. And I did something so silly, you guys. It was a rookie mistake. I bought this fabric while I was there from Leslie at Under the Sea Fabrics, and it's a 40 count linen in Winterbrook. And so here's my progress on Shalloween. I loved having this kind of smoke spot around the cat. Do you know what I did on this project? I started it 2/2 on 40 count. You know, I think it looks okay. But what was I thinking? It's very bulky. I don't know if that's part of the reason why I haven't picked it up at all, basically. I think I stitched on it at the retreat, and then I stitched on it a little bit like since then, but not recently. I have not touched that one recently. But my WIPGO goal is to finish it. So this year, it's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna stick through and do it because I like that fabric too much to try and frog out all of those stitches, and it's just like the 2/2 on the 40 count I think would be too difficult to frog. It would be too tedious, really annoying. So I think I'm going to power through and do it. We'll see. The next project is a project called Water Dragon. I've been teasing this project for years, you all, and I'm so sorry that it's taken so long to release it. But it's going to be done this year. It's going to be done before March. And it's going to, I'll just show you because it's basically done except for beads. Will look basically like this, but with lots of bling on it. Water Dragon is the first in a series of elemental dragons that I had hoped to make. It's still a vague goal. I'll definitely be finishing this one, and he will be released sometime this year. And it is on a 28 count linen in As You Wish by Under the Sea Fabrics. And I started this in March of 2018. So it's got Krynic in it. The teal in his fins is a Weeks Dyeworks thread, so it's got the variegation in it. Gosh, that doesn't sparkle at all, does it? Well, his whole tummy is sparkly. But yeah, this is technically still a WIP because I need to put the beads on it. But yeah, I'm hoping he'll be done by March. I mean, he's going to be done by March. I'm just going to say it that way. He'll be done by March. Next, we are moving into Stitch Mania in 2018. This piece was started May 7th, 2018. It is called Celestial Dragon. It's by Joan Elliott. And it's on the cover of this book here called Dragons and Unicorns. I love cross stitch. And I'm disappointed that the neighbor's lawn service, I think, has just started work with the leaf blower. Sorry, everyone, for that noise. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm gonna keep moving though because I want to get this done and cleaned up so that I can get back to work on my Ingleside stuff. So, as I was saying, Celestial Dragon, Joan Elliott, May 7th, 2018, part of Stitch Mania. This was fabric that my sister gave to me. It's a 32 count linen in Stardust by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Here's where I'm at. Again, this is a WIPGO project. It is going to get 7 days of progress this year. I love that fabric. Look at all of the rainbow of colors, and just this dragon is so colorful too. I think it's going to be really beautiful when it's done. I've counted it out. It should fit, but every time I work on this, I'm like, is it gonna? Sometimes that happens in cross stitch. You're like, oh boy, I was pretty confident when I started this that it was going to fit on this fabric, and my next WIP is my own design, but it's not one that is for release. It was a memorial piece for my sister's dog, Loretta. She was a German Shepherd mix. This is actually the dog that my Loretta Seasons is based on, kind of a long-haired Shepherd mix. She was a good girl, and she passed away due to medical issues, and it really impacted my sister. So I kind of asked my sister, I'd love to do a memorial piece for her. What kind of flowers would you maybe want featured in it? And she picked lilac bloom. So I am going to do this portrait of her. And I started this in December of 2018. I had the best of intentions to get it done, and I'm sorry, Katie, because I think you'll probably watch this. I'm sorry it's taken so long. But I still plan to finish it, and here's where I'm at now. This is a project that I'm stitching on 32 count Lugana and Sprite by Picture This Plus using DMC, and then I'm also using Whisper Threads on her fuzziest parts so that hopefully she'll look fuzzy, because she was just a very soft dog, and she was just beautiful. She had that you know, the long hair. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. I think it's looking great so far, and I just need to keep working on it. This is a piece on my WIPGO board. My goal is to get 7 days stitching on it, so that'll at least move it forward. Next piece, we're jumping to 2019. We're getting closer to today. Stitch Mania 2019, I started this piece on May 14th. It is another Game of Thrones piece called Daenerys. This is my only full coverage. I have, you know, some of those dimension kits you could classify as full coverage, but this is like my only kind of Haid style full coverage, Heaven and Earth design style full coverage. It's not by Heaven and Earth. It's by a company called Elka Cross, and it's just called Daenerys. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross on a 25 count Lugana, and I can show you where I'm at so far. I love this piece because of the dragons, the pretty lady, and all of the colors. I think the colors are really what has what drew me to the piece to begin with, and what has inspired me to keep working on the piece, because no matter how the show Game of Thrones ended, and no matter how the books might one day end, the picture itself is just beautiful, and I'm a fantasy lover, so I think it works. And it will work in my decor if one day I finish it. But here's where I'm at. This is a dragon's neck, and these stitches over here go into the end of the dragon's nose and mouth. So I'm getting close to having a dragon done. This piece is also going to get 7 days as my WIPGO challenge, and that'll be fun to pull that back out when it's called. Next piece I started June 1st, 2019. It is this piece called HL's Moth. And I believe there was a stitch along at the time where a lot of people started HL's Moth. And I actually saw this piece at market, at the Nashville Needlework Market in 2019. That was the year it premiered, and I got to visit market just as an up and coming designer. I had emailed them and said, I'll be in Nashville that weekend. Is there any chance I can come and just look around? And Yarn Tree / Needlework Retailer very kindly said, of course, yeah, come in, you can see what the whole deal is. I got to meet some of my friends from the cross stitch community for the first time. It was really special. It was awesome. And I got to meet Kathy Barrick in her room. And I was looking around and I saw this, and she had the model and this model, which is stitched 1/1 and turned into like a pendant. And I looked at that and I was like, I think I could do that. I think I could do that. And Kathy Barrick was so kind and generous. She was like, well, here, have it. And here's the hardware to go with it. And I just was like, you're so good at cross stitch design, and you're so nice, and I want to be you when I grow up. So I think she might be a redhead too, so I was especially like, I was starstruck. Anyway, I got another pattern there too, so I didn't feel like, I was a little bit of a fangirl. So I am stitching this 1/1 on 40 count. It's a 1/1 on a hand dyed 40 count. It's specifically oaken by Picture This Plus. So it's tiny. I really want to get this done by March if I can, but it's going to be finished this year regardless. This is what I have done. I have the body of the moth done, and I have most of one of the lower wings done. But yeah, he's going to be tiny. Only this big. I can't wait. I can't wait. I want to get it done. I want to make it into a necklace so I can wear it. I am doing that project with the MPI silks, by the way. I wanted to do it up, just because Anyway, this next project is a big one. And I started it October 13th, 2019. It's called The Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. It is my only long dog. And I picked this because of the dragons. There are multiple dragons and knights and fantasy creatures in this piece. It's pretty cool. I started in the middle. A lot of people started up in the corners, but my fabric, it's going to be cutting it close. So I wanted to start in the middle so I could work out and cut off things if they don't fit, versus, if you start in the corner and then you run out of space. So this is a 32 count linen in Brash by Picture This Plus. I am using kind of a la Emily C in her Death by Cross Stitch project. She used that as kind of a way to use up some of the awesome, fun, beautiful threads in her stash, all of the hand-dyed threads in her stash that she had but didn't necessarily have for a project. Well, I have some of those too, so I was like, I like that idea. And so I'm kind of getting into my stash and pulling things out as it goes along, but I'm still on that central moon motif. Yeah, there's a moon in the motif, so I think I can still call it a moon motif, although now that I see it, if the moon's in there, they're not actually in front of the moon, they're just in front of the sky. But I've started with these greeny blue colors, well, green blue down at the bottom, but then kind of I'm making it fade up, and then this color here I think will come up this way in the circle, and then I'll fill the rest in with white. But yeah, it's coming along. I think it's going to be really nice. I'm excited to get going on this again. It is in my WIPGO board, and I'm going to be stitching 7 days on it as my WIPGO challenge. So that'll be a fun one to get back to, because yeah, I haven't stitched on it in a long time, and I'll look forward to it. So this next piece was a new start for Stitch Mania 2020. And it is a design by Kate Frederick of Eye of the Magpie. She's a stitchy friend of mine, so I think that year one of my goals was to kind of stitch some things for my friends. And I picked this one. It's called Calico Anthem. It has some text up here, but I think I'm just going to do the cat. And I saw this adorable little kitty face, and it reminded me of my cat, Danny. So what I've actually done, I'm going to pull this back here so you can't, see the squares or anything, but I've colored in the squares to have my cat's markings. I'm really excited about this piece. I think it's going to be beautiful. And that's how I'm stitching it. I'm going to stitch it in silks on this piece of 32 count linen in Wandering Ivy by Silk Weaver. And this is where I'm at. You can see I have a little kitty nose. You can see where her eyes are going to be. So I started this May 2nd, 2020. And my WIPGO goal on this piece is to finish it. I'd like to finish this piece. I'd like to get it in a little frame so I can have sweet Danny's face looking at me. Kate did a really good job designing this. It's friggin' adorable. And yeah, I can't wait to get some more work done on it. I'm excited to get to use some of the other colors besides just the white silk. So once I get into her eyes and her peachy and gray colors, I've picked out some NPIs and dinky dyes and silken colors to use on her. So I'm going to be excited when that one gets called. So this is the last piece in my WIPGO. So we've hit 25 projects so far. And it is another Stitch Mania 2020 piece. It is called Stocking Stuffers. It's by Lindy Stitches. Look at these cuties. They're just little swans in stockings. And I wanted to start this because I was maybe I purchased it after, so I work at a theater sometimes doing shows there, performing, and it's in my grandparents' area. So a lot of times I'll spend a lot of time or stay at my grandma's house, which is out on a farm. And I was driving on the road to the farm and saw two swans flying in the air. And it made me think of this pattern, and I don't know, sometimes the universe tells you what to stitch, I guess. And so then I purchased it. And so by the time that Stitch Mania came around that year, I was like, you know what? I want to start that. So I did. I'm stitching it on 40 count linen in pale aqua by Zweigart. And so far I have one of the swans done. I have the black swan done. And my goal on this piece is a pretty big goal. Now that I'm looking at it, I am going to get one of the stockings done. So that's basically completing this piece over here. So I'll get, you know, one half of the pattern done, one swan done. And I started this May 3rd, 2020, by the way. So that completes my WIPGO board. Already some pretty lofty goals on some of those pieces. Some of the pieces a little easier. My philosophy, hopefully I'll get some of those pieces that have bigger goals, matched up with pieces that I'm doing the 7 days on. So that way I can kind of work on a week's worth of days on the one project, and then my other, you know, hour per days can be devoted to the bigger goals. But we'll see how the numbers work out. But to continue with the WIP Parade, there's still, I think, at least another 15, 20 projects. So we'll keep moving. This next one is a pattern by the Witchy Stitcher. It's called Wouldst Thou Like to Live Deliciously. I started this one because it is a quote from the movie The Witch, having to do with the creepy black goat, Black Phillip, who I made a costume of. I kind of like, you know, get these, kind of latch on to certain motifs or animals, and they kind of become, you know, something that I like to collect. And black goats, for whatever reason, I liked it. So it was a piece I wanted to do. So I started that in Stitch Mania 2020 on May 10th. This is on a piece of Strawberry Swirl 28 count linen by Under the Sea Fabrics. And that's where I'm at. So this piece will come out for Mania this year, but it's, you know, it's not on the WIPGO, so I don't have a specific challenge associated with it. So it might only be out for Stitch Mania. I don't know. We'll see how the year goes. Next piece is And Heaven and Nature Sing by Kathy Barrick. Started in July of 2020 in honor of Diana. It is Kismet's birthday. And I say that because her birthday is actually in December, but she celebrates it stitchy-wise in July, so it can be a Christmas in July. So, did I get that right? I think I got that right. Anyway, it was for Christmas in July. And I had a couple of Christmas pieces in my stash, and I said, why don't you pick one? This one I had kitted up with a linen and all of the MPI silks because I fell in love with the model at a stitchy store, and then after that was like, I'm going to save that to where it's going to be a treat to work on. And it was for a little while, but I thought, because I'm stitching it on 36 count, I was like, oh, of course it's going to fit on this fabric. I did the calculation a long time ago. Let me count in and start from the corner. And this one I'm not going to get rid of it because I don't want to frog and redo what I have done. But I don't know if it's going to fit. I really need to sit down and actually count down and see if, I mean, it can have half an inch border, and that's fine by me. I'll make it work, but like, it needs to have some border, you know. So this is on a 36 count platinum linen, and here's what I have. Like I said, this is with the MPI silks. Look at that cute little grove with the cardinals. This is a really fun one to stitch on. I love using the silks and seeing this piece grow, but I kind of, again, I stopped stitching on it because I realized I made a mistake. I should have started up here. What was I thinking? Why did I start so low? Ay, ay, ay. Cross your fingers for me, everybody. All right, this next piece was an impulse start last summer, I think. It is called, not last summer, last fall. It is called Dearland. It's a Russian kit by Adriana. And this is what it looks like. It's huge, very long. But I love this. I think it's awesome. It's a Russian kit, and I'm stitching it with all the kit materials. So it's 16 count black Ada, and then just the floss that comes with the kit. I started in the middle section, so the deer's head is going to be under here. But so far, I just have a little bee skip, a little beehive, and a tree. This one is, I love this one. I just did the tree, I think last month. I kind of on a whim pulled this out to work on it. It was actually because I was watching a stitcher called Calico. She does a lot of DMC kits and Mill Hill kits, and watching her progress. She does vlog style videos monthly, so she collects clips over the month and then does vlog style videos. And just seeing her work on her kits, I was like, I want to pull a kit out. So that's the one I picked, and got that tree done. And I might pull that out and kind of get that middle part done. There's a couple of bees on the deer's antlers. You can see one here, and there's one here. So I have this stitched in this tree. It might be fun to come over here and get like this little bush and this bee done too. And then I can move on to, I'll probably move down and get the deer himself done and then get into his antlers and his land. So yes, that was started September 21st, 2020. When will it be done? 10 years? Maybe. This next piece was started in October of 2020. It's another Lindy Stitches design. It's called Dracula's Confession. And it started as part of the Shade and Shadow Sal, because the quote is, "I love the shade and the shadow, and would be alone with my thoughts when I may." Quote from Dracula, his confession, if you want to call it that. And I'm doing this top version here. I'm stitching this on a piece of 28 count even weave that I dyed myself. And here's where I'm at. So I'm making progress. Next I'll fill in those leaves, and then basically I'll have just the bat and the text on the bottom. So I have my WIPGO goals this year, so I think my main priority will be to get those done. But if there's time, I generally try and keep at least a mental / sometimes I'll write like little stars next to projects on my WIP list of things I think that are close to a finish, so that, you know, I can focus a little more on those. So that one might get a star. This next piece is one that I definitely want to get finished, and it's not going to take long. It's just not the time of year that I want to stitch on it. It's called Harvest Dragon, and it is a freebie by Ingleside Imaginarium. Ooh. This is a 14 count Ada that I hand dyed that year. I started this one November 7th, 2020, and that's what he's going to look like. So I have the brown and white, the parts of his little wings, and then his horns to do. Otherwise, and then the back stitch, but otherwise he's done. So hopefully like September, maybe I can pull him out and just get him done, and then, you know, post him closer to Thanksgiving, because he's adorable. And again, he's a freebie. He's actually already been released. He's been available for years. If you want to get on the website and download it, feel free. But yeah, he's almost done. This is, I should show you, this is a project I finished last year around Halloween when I was sick with COVID. I had planned to start this because I was like, that's me and Rhaegar stitching in front of a fire. I'll put the title of this, but I know it's a pedal pusher design. And then yeah, I got COVID on Halloween. And I think I still did start this on Halloween, but just like any excitement about sharing it, I just completely was like, I just can't. But I changed the cat to look like Rhaegar. And I substituted a lot of the flosses, the hand-dyed flosses, like in the stonework on the fireplace and everything. And made the witch a redhead with a green dress. Anyhow, since it was here and I didn't show that to anybody, I figured might as well show it now. It's not a WIP, it's a finish from 2020. This next piece is one that I started in the fall of 2020, November 7th to be exact, and it was my stitch along for this year, which is still a WIP because there's still one piece left. The Karamos Bestiary. So I'm sharing it because it's technically a WIP. This was the mystery stitch along last year, going into this year, 2022, because I started it late, again, due to COVID. I caught COVID fall of end of October into early November of 2020. So that's the time I would have been prepping to get this ready for release, and I couldn't do it. Didn't have the energy. So it ended up getting released in, I think, February of 2021. But that one's close to being done. That one is going to be finished this year. In fact, that one's going to be finished this month. So next is a piece by Alforest Embroidery. It's called Hyperborea. And hopefully you can see that okay. Yeah, you can see that pretty well. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. I think I fell in love with the owl and the lynx. I just loved kind of the animals as the central motifs with all of the colorful buildings and trees, and there's a little mammoth in there and seals and things around it. As you can see, I bought the kit, so that means the flosses and the fabric and everything came with it. And I decided to start this as what's called a snow day piece. Kansas City girl in a Colorado world, Julie, has for a few years done a snow day piece. So whenever it snows, where she lives in Colorado, she works on a specific piece. And I liked that idea. And, you know, at the time I was living in New York City where it snows more often. I started this on February 1st, it looks like, of 2021. And I said, do you mind if I join your snow day, Sal? Is that okay? And she was like, yeah, of course. I'm happy if people want to do that too. So I actually just got to stitch on this the other night. It snowed here in Nashville. And yeah, so here's where I'm at. I started in the middle with the owl motif. Oops, sorry, there you go. And then the other night I stitched this and this while it was snowing. So it actually might snow again tomorrow. I need to check the weather, but I might be stitching on this again. I wasn't sure how much progress I was going to get on it after moving. I was like, well, maybe I'll have to, like, if it's snowing in New York and it's snowing, or it's snowing in Nashville, like, because New York was my home, like maybe either one could work and I could stitch on it that day. So I might still do that just because I'm skeptical about how much snow I'll get in Nashville. But yeah, that's a piece. Every stitch is a joy on it with those flosses, and it's just lovely, easy stitching. I just like it. All right, this next piece I started March 13th, 2021. It's a biggie. There is a designer on Etsy called Robin Hobbs, Robin's Design, and she does these amazing cross-stitch, like little 3D dolls. So you stitch all the pieces and then you stitch them together. I can't remember. I think I had to do with the fact that I bought a giant cone of DMC 310 for my stitch along because I knew I was going to need a lot of DMC 310. And I think I ordered the supplies and I was sick with COVID. So I just got on the internet and ordered them and was like, I'm going to get that big cone of black. I'm never going to buy black again. And then I was like, oh, I have this big cone of black. What can I stitch with it? And I decided I'm going to make this goat, this little cutie, into Black Phillip. So I'm changing it so that he'll be all black. And I started that on March 13th, 2021. And here's the only piece that I have started. But that's a pretty big piece. I'm getting there. This leg is fully stitched, but the rest of these stitches are just half crosses, so I need to go back and do the other cross. And then I'll do kind of the hairy bits in a lighter gray. I'm excited for that piece. It's going to be really cool when it's done. She has all kinds of animals. The llama's really cute. I think the squirrel has like turkey stitch on the tail, so it's fuzzy. There's different little dog breeds. There's kitties. And I think she's also done, I want to say she's the one who did like the Doctor Who dolls as well. So I'll try my best to, if I mention like an Etsy store especially, I'll try my best to put all of the information about my WIPs and links associated with them in the description, so you can get on there and check out her patterns. They're all really cool, and she's the only one out there, I think, who's making these complex dolls with cross stitch, and it's awesome. So yeah, March 13th, 2021. Gonna change it into a black goat. No deadline on that one. Next is a piece from this book here. I have been sharing this book for years because I was stitching a different piece out of here. I was actually stitching the October piece. It is Carousel Horses in Cross Stitch by Donna Cooler and by her studio. And this has a carousel horse for each month of the year. And I completed October last year. So I let myself start another one, and I can't remember the exact reason why. I think it was just like the colors, or Easter was coming up. I did start it April 4th of 2021, but I decided I was going to do this one next. Extra Special Easter. Look how cute that's going to be with the ducks and little rabbits and chicks. And just all of the beautiful, I just love Easter colors. If I could have a million Easter decorations just for the colors, I would. Like those wreaths of the eggs. I don't know why. Maybe it's because maybe it's because I think of candy, and I do really like candy, so maybe that's why, I don't know. But yeah, that's the one I'm working on now. Extra Special Easter is what it's called, or sorry, Extra Special April. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count Lugana in lavender. And here's where I am. I have the little saddle done. So next I'll be moving into the actual horse and then work my way outward. The Halloween one took me forever, years to make. They're pretty complicated, and then like once you get the cross stitching done, they have a lot of back stitch, but they're just really fun, cool designs, and I love the idea of one day of having them finished so I can switch them out month by month. Again, maybe one day. This next piece was started, I believe, May 15th of last year as a new start for Stitch Mania. It's another pattern by Pinky the Pink in a series of these really cool owls. This is the Great Gray Owl. I finished one of these already, the Barn Owl, which you can actually see on the same fabric, because I think my goal will be to finish these in hoops if I can manage it, or I'll make my own like little round ornaments. But that is the Barn Owl that I finished before Stitch Mania. And then here is my start on the Great Gray Owl. I actually had this out the other week working on it. After Stitch Mania, I had both of the brown sides of the wing done, but I realized as I was stitching this new color, I had made a mistake, so I had to frog one side of it. And at that point, I was like, well, gosh darn it, if I had to frog that one side of it, I'm going to stitch this whole color. So I kind of stitched the owl's body there. Yeah, this is a Stitch Mania piece, so we'll for sure see it again, at least for a day in May. I just think these are really cool, and I love the chance to add some beads onto them. There's metallic, there's satin thread, and yeah, it's they're pretty cool. There's 4 of them total, and this will be my second one. Oh, by the way, this is a 32 count linen in Murky by Picture This Plus. This next piece is a personal piece. I designed it kind of for myself. It includes, it will include in the end lyrics by Brandi Carlile, so I didn't end up wanting to release it because, you know, that's her creative work and I don't want to profit on that. But it is my attempt at a sampler, actually, kind of an old, inspired by old actual samplers. It's called The Joke. I don't have much on it right now, but I can show you what I have. This is a 40 count linen in Ancient Ruins by Fox and Rabbit. It's going to be just in DMC, and the border is going to be violets. So you can see here I've started on the border. I started this in June 5th, 2021. And it's just my own personal project that, you know, I'll share as I make progress on it, but it's not, you know, it's for me. So that is a WIP that I have. Next, we're getting close, everybody. Next is another piece I started in June of 2021. It is The Personal is Political by Bendy Stitchy Designs. This is what the original looks like. The Personal is Political. It always has been. This was fun because as I was stitching the first part of it, I was sharing it in my Instagram stories. And it said The Personal is, and I have a little needle minder on there that is a little kitty. I mean, you'll see it because it is still kind of there. But I'm changing the colors on this one and stitching it on a little piece of Aida that I had over dyed trying to do something with. But yeah, this one is going to be a quick finish if I can, you know, I think I'll probably pull it out around June again. But yeah, The Personal is cat. I like it. And I think we've got 3 more pieces, you guys. We made it. This next one is called Possum Song. It's by Mama Witch Cross Stitch. I started this with my friend Kylie. Cause like, look at him, especially now I live in Tennessee, like, he's giving me Smokies vibes. A little banjo, a little moonshine, chewing on a little straw hat. And just like the fall vibes, you know, just the mushrooms and the little pumpkin. I just think he's cute. I like him. So I started stitching on this one. It's on a 36 count linen in Moss by Picture This Plus. And I didn't get very far, but I think it's gonna be cool. You can kind of see he's a ghost possum right now. He's got the banjo here, and that's his little hand, the banjo, and that's his little furry body, so just a little smile. Yeah, that'll be cute. But working on that one inspired me actually to make my own pattern called Peter Pumpkin Eater. It is, like I said, an Ingleside Imaginarium design. I am stitching the model for, but it's not done. So this is all you get to see so far. I'll give you one hint. That is a pumpkin. You probably would have guessed Peter Pumpkin Eater. You would think there'd be a pumpkin in there, but that is part of a pumpkin. It's going to be, this is a 32 count linen and moccasin by Fortnite Fabrics. It's my first time stitching on their fabric. I love it. I can't wait to design more pieces and use their fabrics for it. But it's going to be using Gentle Arts and DMC. And I actually started this with the New York Stitchers in Bryant Park. I managed to meet up with them once before moving away, and just want to let you guys know I miss you already, and I wish that we had gotten together more often before I left. But yeah, he's gonna be cute. Just you guys wait and see. Peter Pumpkin Eater is gonna be freaking adorable. And here we are, the last WIP in the last work in progress is another Ingleside Imaginarium design. It is my Winter Dragon. Here's what he'll look like. He's already been released for a while with just the digital rendering, but I'm finally getting around to making an actual model for him. So yeah, here's where I'm at. This has kind of been my focus piece. I work the 1 hour on my WIPGO piece and then the rest of the day on this guy. And yeah, I know we all say it all the time, and I feel like probably especially designers say it, but like having a stitch model for a piece makes such a big difference. It looks so much better than anything you can get on the computer. So yeah, I'm just really excited to be seeing him come to life after so many years. And this is, by the way, a linen, a Picture This Plus linen, 28 count. I have here that it's pewter. So I'll have to trust my notes because I lost the little paper that goes with it. So I'll have to just double check that online because it seems a little light for something called pewter, but maybe not. It's not fog because fog is a lighter, creamier color, so it's probably pewter. Anyway, I will have to double check that. But yeah, that's Winter Dragon. Hopefully he'll be done this month. Yeah, so that was my WIPs. I'm gonna pause here so I can get an actual number to tell you guys about how many WIPs I have. So give me 1 second to do that math. It's not math. Who am I kidding? It's just counting. So upon counting, it's 41 WIPs. There will be more before the end of the year, but hopefully there will be less as well. My stitch along is at least going to be finished. I have some goals to finish some pieces in my WIPGO board. And then, you know, there will always be models that I start and finish. So we'll just see where the year goes. I'm excited to have some more time to devote to my business, Ingleside Imaginarium, and stitching in general. And yeah, we'll see what the year brings. I am actually very excited to be a part of WIPGO, so thank you, Jessie, for opening that up, your challenge up, and making it available for everybody. I think it's going to be a really good way to get some progress made on some of those old WIPs. Yeah, otherwise, I'm just excited to be here. And I've been enjoying my stitching already this year, so I'll plan to keep doing it. And I hope that you guys enjoy your stitching this year as well. You know, it feels weird after the last couple years to say something like Happy New Year or hope you're, and you know, do hope that everyone's year is full of joy and fulfillment and all of those things. But if it can't be all of those things, I hope for each of you that it is at least peaceful, a peaceful new year. And I know a lot of you will agree with me that our stitching can help us find that peace when times are stressful. So I just feel lucky to have it. And I feel lucky to have you guys and your support. And I hope you have enjoyed this video of all of my 41 WIPs. And yeah, I'll see you around. And in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Bye.